Alright, we're about to get started here. I got to get going on this thing. I was just doing a little bit of setup work, and I'm trying to do a Q&A today just to ask how many of my viewers have a guitar with a Floyd Rose type system in it. I'm not sure. It doesn't really give me an option to offer answers that you could hit like yes or no on the software on the YouTube. What's it called? The studio. So I'm gonna, while I'm waiting for folks to kind of show up here and there, I'm gonna look into this. I want to see if there is a way, and it also, it always tells me that YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will, and then it open widgets, which I think all of that is that they're trying to sell me some kind of software or something. I'm not 100% certain, but if I go to stream settings, let's see here. I can't change the latency. I can't change any of the video settings. So I can go to stream health. Warning: the stream's current bit rate is 2771. I think that may have to do with our internet connection. And lower than recommended. We recommend that you use a stream bit rate of 6800, which I have done that. I'm going to go back to my settings here. I just, let's see, so I go to stream, service, that's in advanced options. It does not let me, if I go to general, output, and I know this is not as exciting as it could be. Let's see, if I go to appearance and style, whatever, stream, YouTube RT output. Output is simple. I have a video bit rate set to, I have the video bit rate set to 6800 kbps in my OBS software, and I am using OBS. I don't have to use OBS, but I like to be able to switch cameras. Encoder bit rate balanced. Let's go to quality, enable custom encoder settings, advanced custom encoder settings. I have no idea, so I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to apply these settings. So I've done exactly what YouTube is telling me to do, and I just want my stream to be as nice as it can and look as good. But stream status, it's telling me that there's not enough. It says that I have a good connection. It doesn't say I have an excellent connection. So hopefully I don't experience any glitches in the picture, because I'd like for everybody to see it, and I'm connected to a very good solid internet connection. So let's look at what we've got going on here, and we'll get started working on this thing. So I've got a whole bunch of parts here. This is the Floyd Rose from a Schecter Synyster Gates Signature guitar. We've got new, and these are stripped out on 99% of the let's see, video and sound are fine. Okay, Jampro, thank you, man. Dude, say hi to Emma for me if you see her today, man. There's mail happening. Okay, so we've got these screws are stripped out on half the Floyd Roses that I get in here, because guys turn them way too tight. They don't need to be tightened down that tight. To be honest, it's a very, very subtle move on that. And then also these blocks need to be placed in a specific direction, and it depends on what day of the week these lock blocks are made, and we'll talk about that when I go to put them back on here, which might be an hour or so from now. But there's definitely a specific direction that these need to be put on your guitar. If you do it the other way, you will likely have problems with the strings slipping. It's possible. And then also the colors. We've got black screws, gold blocks, and then gold mounting screws here. These are not actually really gold. They're more of a, I don't know. They look a little bit more like the paint on this guitar. So we've got some shiny gold, because it's hard to match up colors when you're ordering parts from different suppliers. Now also I have gone ahead and put some gold screws in the string tree for him, just as a little added touch. And then also, I think what I'm going to do, this has a chrome screw in it. I'm going to try and find a little gold screw to put in there to create some cosmetic differences. So I am going to move this guitar out of the way. I wanted you all to be able to see that. And also, I'm not 100% certain that this is the correct. It's almost like this came off a different guitar, and I'll show you why when we get to that point. Let's real quick, let me see. I'm going to take this chrome screw and set it aside here. Yeah, look at that. I never throw anything away, and I usually order pieces like this, but I've got a little gold screw right here. We're going to find a nice shiny one. That one looks a little stripped. That one looks a little not gold. That one looks pretty good. Oops. So again, I've got all these little gold screws here. Now I'm going to look through my stuff again, just to quickly. I want to see if I've got any other. And I do not. I was just checking to see if I had any other gold colored screws. So this is the one we're going to use on that, and that's a gold screw. However, if we look at the tops of these screws just real quick, yeah, it's definitely more gold than this is. So we'll use that one in the truss rod cover. But again, I do not believe that that truss rod cover came off this guitar. This guy owns several Schecters, and he is always altering them. So I don't know anything more than I can say that I am going to put this guitar together, and I'm almost certain that within 3 hours of it arriving home, it may be altered even further. So here we go. We're going to rebuild the Floyd Rose, taking it from Sparky. What's happening, brother? Sparky, I'm not sure if you work on Floyd Rose guitars. I put a post up there. Well, I'll get to that, Justin. We'll look at it. We'll look at it here in a bit. But this is the Floyd Rose cover. However, there are 3 holes in the headstock. So again, I believe that this has been came off of another guitar. I don't know. I don't have time to look all of that stuff up while I'm working, so I can't always know what someone has done to change the appearance of their guitar, or they take a part off of it and they lose it. And you don't own a Floyd Rose, which is that's cool. I'm grabbing some tools here. I kind of got going here a little later than I was hoping. Okay, so we got all of that. I'm going to need these things. And I got to grab a hex key here. Give me a second. Let's grab a metric. Okay, so definitely. So here we go. I'm going to grab this set of metric hex keys, and I'm going to grab this one, and I believe this one is at a 2 or a 2.5. We're going to start opening up all these parts. Yeah, I figured so, but that's cool. You know, there's nothing I can do about it, because again, like I said, with this kid, I call him a kid, but when he gets his guitars home, he immediately alters them after I've done. He's paid me to do a bunch of work on them, which is just fine. But you know, also that voids any kind of warranty for my work. You know, and I've told him that in the past, and he's like, yeah, I don't care. So he's apparently he's pretty good at setting up his own guitars. And again, this is a child-proof bag. They put a Ziploc on it, but you cannot open it, right? How many times does that happen? I'm missing. I get back to where there it is. All right. So I've got my my good little cutter here. So you have to cut these bags open most of the time. They make them child-proof. So you can see that these are supposed to be gold, but they're not really gold. Oh, anything about it? Oh, okay. Okay, so here we go. You're going to see one taken completely apart and all the way put back together again. So this could be a really interesting, because you may encounter one if you're doing work on guitars for people in your area. knowing how to do this stuff is really, really helpful. And there, guys, most guitar players that have these things are scared to death of them. Even changing strings on these things, guys are just like, oh, I don't know how to do it. So, and just for the record, and I'll show you here, I've owned a Floyd Rose impregnated, and I call them Floyd Rose impregnated guitars, simply as kind of a little snarky thing to say, but obviously it's a guitar that has a Floyd Rose on it. So I've owned one since 1989, and I still own it to this day, and I've used it on my channel when I'm playing live. And bar none, the Floyd Rose is the most stable tuning platform out there. Yes, I realize that there are those, what are they, not Tunematics, Evertunes that are on guitars now that have their own kind of built-in flaws. If you've used a Floyd Rose enough, when you're bending notes and doing double stops and things like that while you're playing, you learn to compensate for the little nuances of the Floyd Rose. So just be aware that you will hear a lot of people talk badly about Floyd Roses because they bend a note and everything else is out of tune. We've been listening to Floyd Roses on Steve Vai's guitars and Joe Satriani's guitars. Oh, and Eddie Van computer, it's been giving me this little note. I'm going to go to yeah, Messenger. Messenger's working just fine. I wish I knew why. I mean, it's showing that I'm live, but and I'm unable to change any settings in here with that. I can't change any settings. I have excellent internet connection here, unless they're doing something with my internet. And again, I'm not going to move forward at all unless somebody tells me that I have a video connection. So we'll just wait. I got to hear from somebody because I don't want to be sitting here with my computer running and it not working. Channel level setting. Okay. I just don't know if I'm getting anything into the stream. So again, I'm going to sit here and wait until I see something. Let me go to YouTube and see if I'm able to stream something, because it could be that we've just had an internet issue. YouTube's working just fine, and if I push play, it works great. So I have to assume open widget, error warning, no doubt. YouTube is not receiving. Okay, so I'm opening the widget just to see. Error warning, stream status. So it's giving me a warning that I'm not having any, I can't change anything. If I go to settings in appearance, and again, I don't know if I have any, if I'm even, let me, go to speed, I guess. I'm changing some settings in here, just given what I constantly see on this computer when I'm streaming to YouTube. And I don't know if these changes do anything. Do I have? Are there? I'm going to type a message. Are there problems with the video or audio on this stream? Seems like I'm able to comment on it, but I can't seem to get like an excellent connection. Add stream marker. I haven't heard back from anybody, so it says people are watching, but I don't think anybody is. I don't know. It'd be great to get some feedback, but nonetheless, Sparky, again, thank you. I'm just going to get to work on this, and we'll hope that the stream is working just fine. So here's how you put one back together again after you've taken it apart. Okay, and also I've got a lot of more parts in this. Yeah, I'm not sure what is happening with the video and audio here. Let me refresh this page. Yeah, it's still telling me, I wonder if we've got, yeah, see, it's only giving me a good connection here. I'm not sure why that is. I have no idea what could be happening. Hi, Camellia. Thanks. I'm really sorry. I do my best to be as professional as I can on here, and I'm sitting here talking about this when I should be working on a guitar. But I'm really doing my best to have a professional-looking show, and sometimes we don't get what we want, right? Or what we pay for. Let's see. I'm going to dump all the rest of these parts out. And a lot of them are going to go back in this bag.
Oh. I talked to you Sunday, or I think it was last Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got all of our blocks. I'm going to show you down here. Forgive me, my camera guy's not keeping up. So those blocks are all going to go. Look at all these parts. So I'm going to get rid of the parts that I don't need for this one. All these set screws. One more. I'm hoping now it says excellent connection. That's good. Okay, so refreshing that page was helpful. I'm not going to be using any of these screws because they're chrome. And I'm not going to be using any of these screws because they are black.
It's all packaged really well.
Okay.
Alright. I've got all these. So all of these parts are going to go back into this guitar that you can see here. And then over here, if you couldn't see these, all of this stuff, including those, right? Let me get rid of these gold screws from here. And again, it's a child-proof bag. So let's just cut it open. And I'll save the parts that come out of here that I'm not going to use. So I have to take a set of gold hardware. And yeah, I don't know what was going on there with my stream. And these screws I'll save for, I don't know, years down the road. I may find another gold hardware. Now, I don't like gold hardware specifically because it turns green. Okay, so let's get back to work here. Let's see how well. Okay, so. Maybe I can tell. Yeah, see these again. A lot of these little. I'll show you. This is the treble E string, and this is the treble B string. And when guys take these apart on their own, those little gold or brass pieces get lost. And the problem with that is that now these blocks don't line up. So now in order to get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see, in order to get this to get in there right, I'm faced with getting the screw started, and these screws have a little pin in the tip of them. You can see that. Now, usually a Floyd Rose isn't this difficult to put together. This one's not going to be super easy, but the block has a little hole in it that the tip of this screw is supposed to go into to hold it in place.
Have another amp, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is use gravity now to help me.
He even had an amplifier over there for you.
What's that?
He had an amplifier over there with your name on it. I was thinking, unlike.
Alright, so now I got that one in. You can see I can usually do that in just a few minutes, a couple of minutes, but on this guitar, because those pieces are missing, I can't. And they are in Floyd Rose whammy bars when you buy them. But if you take them apart, those pieces like to fall out, especially if you're not aware of it, or you're, you know, you're hustling, whatever. So be careful not to lose those, because that can make reassembling these a little bit more difficult. So now what we've done is we've altered this to having a gold tightening screw, string tension screw, and let me make sure. Yeah, those are all the same. Okay, and then we've got a gold intonation adjustment screw, and I'm just going to kind of make a preemptive strike again on the intonation, just how I know intonation usually sets up. Now this one has a gold block in it. Okay, so we're going to put this in here, and we're going to start to thread our set screw to tighten that string down. Then we're just going to drop this, and this block has been marred up because that block is missing. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back in this guitar, and you'll notice that now it sits just perfectly high for that set screw to hit that. So if you lose those little brass screws, you could potentially cause yourself some problems when you're putting her back together again. So we'll leave it at that. And I kind of went the wrong way. I was almost thinking like this guitar was lefty. Well, now I know that other guys have other ways of doing this, but I'm not them, so bear with me if you don't like how I'm doing this. You might learn something, a new way to do it that's easier. Who knows? Okay, so there's that one. And now the next couple of these don't have the little block or the brass stopper. So I'm going to do the same thing with these. We'll grab a block, and we're going to use gravity at this point. It was easier to do with the treble E string because it was the only screw in there. Now I've got to deal with these other screws being in the way, and I'm going to up, and it dropped all the way through, of course. Now a little bit of a preemptive thing that I've done here, and I need to get a paper towel. I have oiled, I cleaned and oiled all of these parts. So on these saddles, there's definitely a little bit of oil kind of draining off of them still. So I'm just wiping off the excess oil. So I think what I'm going to do this one a little differently. I'm going to get it held in place. And these screws are not. Again, a lot of guys are really scared of doing this kind of stuff on a Floyd Rose, and I'm going to look at the answers to some questions here in just a moment. And my question today is, do you own a guitar equipped with a Floyd Rose? And I'm curious to know how many of my guys have one. What Ted Talks Guitar says you do you, Jack. Yep, exactly. Snooks, hello, happy Monday. Okay, excellent, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, we were having some issues with the connection speed. Okay, so again, I'm gonna use gravity to my advantage, and again, this is really easy to do if the owner of the guitar doesn't knock those brass blocks out of the saddles, and that's just from taking them apart and losing them and not putting them back. And it's really, again, this makes this process a little bit more difficult. There we go. Now I'm having to hold this thing up, and I don't know. There we go. There it went. Okay, so now I've got that one in there. Now what that means is, when you go to change the strings on this and you loosen this up, you can't loosen it very far, because if you go too far, that block will fall down in there again, and it makes the job pretty difficult to do. But you know, we can handle that. Now also, these saddles are done in a very specific order. They're set up to match the height of the neck radius. So you want to be real careful about getting these back in here in the right order. If you mix up the order of these, you'll notice lower, higher, and higher, and then this one, obviously it doesn't look the same, but we'll get there because I haven't mixed them up. Guys will pull two of these out and they'll put them back in the wrong place, and they don't realize that they're putting the saddle in the wrong, space in there. So again, on this one, we're still missing the little stopper block. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up a little bit, and we'll push this one forward. Now, I'm on the intonation, when I do the intonation setup, and I'm able to do an intonation setup without having to have a bunch of extra tools. They do sell specialized tools for doing intonation setups. I've never used them. When I was a kid working on these things, of course I didn't have money to go buy a special tool for it, so I used what I had, and we'll get there. It's going to take a little while before we get to the intonation. Now again, on this one, I'm going to have to kind of use gravity to my advantage, and yep, and that one went in nicely. Just the thing is, you want to make sure, and look at how low that one sits. Let me check this one. I may have put that in upside down. That is possible. It's just sitting down really low, but it also is possible that these blocks have been changed out, because they get lost, especially when an owner of the guitar that doesn't really know what they're doing loses them. And then you get new blocks, but they're not the same size as the original ones that were in the guitar. Okay. Usually I would have been done with this a while ago, but on this one, let's see. Okay, so you can see how low these two sit and this one sits, but this one sits up a little bit higher. So man, be careful working on these that you don't. Now these two have the blocks in them, or the stoppers, we'll call them stops, plugs, whatever. And I'm getting a warning that my internet connection is really bad again. So I don't know if the video is freezing up, and if it is, I don't know why. And I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. Okay. And I know that this stuff pretty much only happens to me because my name is Marshall. So hopefully the video is doing okay. And I'm just going to drop this in here because it's got the brass block. I can drop that in there, and when I tighten the set screw, it goes in and it's perfectly set up, so I don't have to mess with all that other stuff. So it's really put that in backwards, and you'll notice that the low E string has the wear finish worn off of this, which is another sign that you've gotten your blocks in the right place. Usually the E and the A strings will have the finish kind of worn off of them from palm muting and such. And you can see how simple that is with the brass blocks in there. Be careful not to lose them. Really easy to do, but at the same time, if you're aware of it, and now hopefully you are, you won't have a problem with it. Come on. Little tiny screws are really tricky. I mean, they're tricky for older fingers, I suppose. I'm not that old. You're only as old as you think you are, right? I'm a grandpa when it comes to the guys in my band and such, which is great. Okay, so now we've got the Floyd Rose all put back together again, at least with the hardware put back in the unit itself. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why this is happening. Let me refresh this page again. We have really good, we may be having, you know, and Justin and I, Jamprosound and I were having some issues with internet, and so we may this is so frustrating to pay so much money for internet every month and have stuff work this horribly. Now also, I don't know if someone here at the shop is using a bunch of internet bandwidth, but I'm hardwired to the internet, so I shouldn't be having any problem, and I'm not connected via Wi-Fi, although I am going to go in and turn the Wi-Fi off. That might possibly create part of a problem. I don't know. I'm doing my best, you guys. Okay, so we've got that all put back together again. And also, there are a couple of shims here that were in a couple of these string holes. And I'm not going to use these right now. I can put those in later. I'm going to test this because I know that the owner of this guitar has taken it apart several times. And I also know that when I look at the bridge this way, the neck radius is matched very well with these saddles. Now, I'm not sure what those shims were for when the guitar was initially built, but we're gonna try it. Okay, maybe it was because my Wi-Fi was turned on. I need to make sure I have that off when I do live streams. I'm learning. All right, so now we are ready to get this guitar back up there and start putting parts on the actual guitar itself. Here we go. Hopefully the video is looking better. Okay. Boop. There we go. See if I can scratch the guitar up. Alright, so we're going to drop the system. Oh wait, we're going to put in the gold. Again, you can see this one, the gold is worn off of it. This one, the gold is good, so this goes to the low E string, or the bass side of the bridge. Always tell that on either a right-handed or left-handed guitar, the worn hardware is on the top side, and the not so worn hardware is on the bottom side. And I have already lubed these threads to make them work real well, and it appears that this may be stripped now. I can see that the threads have been stripped. The top portion of these, there it goes. Okay, there we go. They look a little worn in there. So again, I don't know exactly the height that I need to have these at, but generally I leave them a little bit high so I don't have to do I'd rather lower the string when I'm setting the string action. So we shall see how And I kind of remember about where they were when I took this thing apart. And again, I'm getting terrible stream connection. And I'm half tempted to just stop this stream because I don't want people to have to watch stuff that doesn't look good. And you know, I do welcome to small town America, where basically you're the last important people on stuff. Yeah, and I'm not sure what's going on with this. Okay, so now I'll drop this in here and hook the springs up in the back. Now I've made no adjustments to the springs yet, so what I like to do is put that in there and kind of hold it in place, okay, so that I know that I'm hitting these pivot points, okay, and then loosen these because I know I'm going to have to readjust this after putting all these new parts in here. I want to be able to put these springs in easily. So this is going to give me a lot more distance to get the springs hooked back up and not have to, oh well, I probably could have left them on this one. The spring tension is not super tight. Come on. There we go. And I like my springs to go straight back. I don't like the pivoting to the middle here. Maybe it's superstition. Maybe it's reality. I'm not sure. But this is how I've had mine set up. And the day that I got my Ibanez with the Floyd Rose on it, this is how mine was set up. So I'm just tightening these down. And also, the licensed by Floyd Rose Ibanez bars have 2 set screws and a block that goes over these springs, so it avoids letting those springs pop loose. I believe that I'm having all these problems with with my internet today. It really sucks. But this would have been a really informative live stream for a lot of people. So now we've got that done. We're about ready to put the locking nut back on it. We've gotten this cosmetic stuff all taken care of. And I think what would probably be really cool is if he put a gold whammy bar on this thing. Although this whammy bar has been damaged from use and abuse for many years, and probably been taken apart way too many times. I don't know 100%, but we have brand new black screws. So let's go up here and we'll take a look at the headstock here and how things are going to change. I have no idea what it had in it because those parts are missing. Now let's talk about these. If you look at this, and I know that the video isn't working well enough right now. Let me refresh this page again. Something's wrong with our internet here in town. This is not usually. I don't know if I can disconnect. I don't know if I can disconnect. I'm not gonna, maybe I can. I'm gonna have to try this because I can't get any worse if I'm wasting my time doing this live stream with the software hookup that I've got. Okay, so. Okay, think that it was my bit rate. Okay, so I want to wait and see what happens here. You guys, I'm so sorry about this today. Well, I'm not sorry. It's not my fault. It's some settings that OBS generally does on its own. I don't even know if this stream is working. Really shameful. There's so many settings that you have to adjust. And okay, so it looks like my connection is pretty good. It might be a little bit blurry or something because I had to lower my bit rate down. So it says excellent connection though. So this has a concaved shape like this, and you want the, we'll call them the low parts, to sit like this. Now, so many times I see these with this concave section going like sideways like this. Now, doesn't that not pinch the string quite as well here? This way you get the front side of the string and the back side. This one, yeah. You get the front side of the string and the back side of the string like this. Right? And it looks cool. And we're putting black nuts or set screws in these. I'm just going to kind of do a preemptive strike. And again, the concave convex part of these depends on the day of the week that these are made, because I've seen them both ways where you had to turn them 90 degrees for them to work properly. So there's that. Gosh, I hope my stream has gotten better. Yeah, some of them you do have to turn this direction. It just because the way that they're bent is different, and I have seen it both ways. So they don't go both ways. You want to look at them. So now, you know what I would do is take a picture of this, and then when he brings it back in, we'll see if he's turned these sideways, the wrong direction. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to check the neck. We're going to check how level, straight, flat the neck is. And we're going to be using the exact same set of strings on this. But I can tell right now that the neck has a pretty severe underbow. So I'm going to tighten the truss rod. I'm just going to tighten it just a little bit so that I can, oops, yeah, I'm going to righty-tighty, lefty. So I just moved it about 1/8 of a turn. It's a little bit. Let's do a 1/4 turn on this and see what that does. Now, also, I want to add to this. It seems like things are working better. Wow. Yeah, the bit rate. Be very careful with your bit rate, especially if you are in a questionable internet connection. When I'm here at work, I have no idea who in the shop is using the internet for uploading, downloading stuff. I don't know. But because our Wi-Fi, our router here is very old, so I don't know, and it's still giving me notices that I don't have good internet connection. I'm gonna go back to my bit rate in OBS. Let's see, and stream. There's output. I'm gonna go 1200. So my hope is that I don't set the bit rate so low that my my stream looks all pixelated and such. Okay, so now I've leveled the fingerboard out a little bit. So here we go with putting strings back on this thing. You guys, I really am a little annoyed today that this stream has been so questionable with regard to the quality, because I didn't change anything from the last stream I did, and you know, YouTube gives you these widget, they call them widget things, but they absolutely, all they do is tell you what you're reading. And yeah, again, I'm getting these warnings that I don't have a good enough connection. So I'm gonna have to just bear with it for today. Okay, so I've got the bar in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm putting the strings into the slots where they go. And usually what you'll find when those little brass plugs are missing out of the bottom of it, that the blocks will get tilty and they'll tilt from side to side, and you'll have trouble. Now these set screws, whatever they've coated them with, let me get you over here so you can see this. These are brand new set screws on this, and whatever this coating is that they've used on here, the hex key, the 3mm hex key, it doesn't fit as well as I would like. And okay, so I'm just being real careful to make sure that the hex key bottoms out. It's a hex key, it's not an Allen key. An Allen key is a brand. This is a hex key because it's hex shaped. Okay, so you've seen how to do this. We'll go up here and we'll push the string. Now, I put these blocks on here a little bit prematurely. I'm going to go ahead and pull the blocks back out here. I'll show you up here what I'm doing. Hopefully Sheryl Crow isn't in the video right now, because she doesn't want anybody to see her unless she lets them see her. She's kind of like, they blocked videos of mine because I accidentally got a little bit of the video playing. So, go through here. Same way I put strings on every guitar, 2 wraps through the hole. Pull it tight. Oh, forgot my string winder. Gotta have string winder. I have this beautiful bright orange one now, and this will tell me a little bit. Okay, so we definitely are going to probably raise these, but let's just see what happens here. So now here's another thing. We're going to probably have to raise these, but we'll see what happens. So now with your string ends, cut the ball and the windings off. Don't leave the windings on there. Cut this whole piece off of here. If you leave any of that, you're going to have tuning issues, I promise. Okay, so now I just do this the easy way. Just loosen it enough to get that string to seat all the way down in there. And because these blocks are missing the brass plugs, I think this one is. Yeah, this is, again, you can see that the block is tilting back. I think this one was missing. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now this one wasn't missing the brass plug. Yeah, so some reason something's going wrong here, and I'm really being careful to not scratch the finish on this guitar. There it went. Now I got that string down. So I think what I'm going to do here, before I put any more strings in there, these are brand new screws, which I have never swapped these screws out on any Floyd Rose ever. And well, I'll be careful about saying that. Not because I haven't swapped them out because of something I've done. I've swapped them out because they've been stripped out, which guys will tighten those until they're absolutely beyond torque power for an engine block. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just getting these. I'm getting this hex key in here a few times, each one of these. Now, tell that saddle is not. I want to cinch this up just a little. This is a 2.5 mil. This is a 3 mil. And then I think these guys have done a pretty good job of not making every hex key on the guitar a different size. But But I'm getting this hex key in here and tightening this up so that it'll make it a little bit easier for me when I'm putting each string in here. I'm kind of prepping the set screw before I get too carried away. Okay. I can see some of these set screws, my hex key is going in a little bit further than others. So these are Floyd Rose parts, I believe, also. Yeah, okay, there we go. We're good on here. Now, what you can do when you're stringing one of these up, and again, remember that some of the brass blocks are missing from under these, so you gotta be careful not to lose those. Okay. Again, cut this whole wrappings and all that stuff off. Now, with this one, I like to put it in there, and it went, loosen the set screw by hand. Now this one isn't wanting to tighten up by hand. Usually they're not that hard to turn because they've been in the guitar for a while. But I can also see that this one is tilted a little bit because that brass block is missing out of the bottom of this one. Again, you want to be really careful not to lose those, because I think that causes, I have tried to replace them and I don't have the proper toolage to press those in. It's really, that can be a bit tough. So try to keep those in place. Sometimes they will just fall out. And also you want to make sure that the string goes all the way down till it bottoms out in here. That way you get as much of that block as you can pinching the string, because all it uses is force. And you can see I'm not like reefing on these to get them tightened down. That's not what this game is about. Now, I'd also like to add to this broadcast that the owner of this guitar asked me to use Synyster Gates Signature Strings. And Synyster Gates Signature Strings are cobalt heavy, what is it called? Skinny top, heavy bottoms. They're cobalt, skinny top, heavy bottoms. And they invented a new type of metal for Mr. Gates. So I definitely have the screws tightened way too tight on this, so I'm going to loosen this up a bit just to make this process a little bit easier. I'm going to have to readjust this whole Floyd Rose anyway, so I'm loosening the tension screws to make it a little bit easier for myself here. Oop, careful here. Now, here's another little trick, which I'm going to try and employ this on this guitar, because I'm having to do so much battling on this one that usually I don't put a 9-volt in there, but it does hold the bar up high enough that you can get this string is not going all the way down into this opening here, and it's because that brass block has been removed by the owner. Or knocked out by the owner or something. He likes to work on his own guitars. He comes in and has me do a bunch of work, and then he'll get it home and take them apart. And I've worked on this guitar multiple times. Many times. I'm fine with it. I encourage people to work on their own instruments, but boy, there are certain things that you can mess up pretty good. If you don't pay attention and aren't careful or don't know. Be careful not to lose those brass plugs, the bottom of one of these. Now, also, I've loosened up all of the tuning, the fine tuners here. So on the lower ones, I loosen them until, and then I when it makes contact, I give them 2 small turns. So I loosen it up when it makes contact, 1, 2 small turns.
Good. How are you? Check out your car. All right.
Now, on the treble strings, again, I do the same thing because you want to have a little bit of room to loosen the strings. 99.9% of the time on a Floyd Rose, your string will go flat and you have to sharpen the pitch of the string. So that's why I do that. And again, I've oiled all of these parts so they're lubed and well ready to go, so the fine-tuning adjustments will be really easy to make. So here we go, stringing her up. 2 wraps. Over the top of your wraps. Come on. Ernie Ball, here's another thing I'll show you on this string. Ernie Ball, when they've been cutting these strings, at least on the recent packs, there's a little barb sticking off of all of their strings, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. Not that it's hard, but it makes it a little more difficult to get that string to go through the Okay, so I can see that this string is being pulled out of the block. Again, because of the brass sets being missing. So now I'm going to see, yeah, I loosen it a little bit. You can see that this is not okay. You need to have a lot more of that string stuck down in below the top of that. And again, this is not difficult to do if you haven't lost those brass blocks. So, you know, I do encourage people to work on their own guitars, but not to the point that you're losing parts from them and are causing issues like this that I have to deal with when I'm working on them. So I'm going to see if this block will flatten out. It just does not seem to want to be, it doesn't want to go in straight. Okay, let's see if that, when I get the string on here, I have to be careful because that block will fall down in there and then I got to start over again with something I already did. Man. There it went. There we go. Usually you don't have to struggle with this at all. There it went. Now I felt it go all the way down in there. And I'm keeping pressure on this and not bending the string or kinking the string. This is, again, this is a lot of the reason why big channels like Dave's World of Fun stuff, they don't show you the whole, they don't show you the actual work that they're doing live. Yep, and you can see this block just moved again. So I'm not 100% certain what's going on with this one. I do have additional blocks here. Yeah. me see if I can. Let's see if I can kick the top edge of that over. Yeah, every time I tighten the bottom, the bottom is pushing the bottom of this block to tilt it backwards, and it should be sitting level. Boy, I don't know. I may have to live with that. Either that, or I may request that he buy some new saddles for this guitar, because I don't know if this is going to stay put. And also it's loose in here, so I want to tighten that up a little bit. Where's my other hex key? Let me tighten this down, because it's slipping in here, but that's only because I didn't tighten them down very tight, because I know I'm going to have to... See, I don't like the way this block... I'm sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. My camera guy doesn't keep up with me. This block is tilted at an angle, and so now about 1/10 of the strength that this would have if it was being pushed straight. What you're looking for is that string and your block, and you want that block pushing that string in like this. Currently it's pushing it in like this, and so I'm going to try one more stab at getting this thing to level off, to get this string to go all the way down into the slot. But again, this is only because that brass piece, you can see how much of that string is getting pinched in there. I'm going to cut that part off again, and it also possibly could be a bad string. I'm not ruling anything out. Usually Floyd Roses are really easy to work on until somebody loses parts to them. Usually it's the owner of the instrument that loses parts to them. Okay, so that string is all the way embedded in there. Now I'm tightening this lock down, and I can see that the block is tilting. There we go. Now it stayed level. Now it stayed level. So all of that, because that part got lost, it's really unfortunate, but there we go. Let's see, where's my string winder? So YouTube is still telling me that I have YouTube is still telling me on my live stream studio software that I have bad stream current bit rate. 1123 is lower than the recommended bit rate. Yeah, but if I raise it up, it goes we lose video. So I'm going to refresh. I'm going to refresh this. I think the recommended bit rate is like 2000 or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, something's wrong with our internet, I think, here at home. So let's go back up here. We're gonna finish putting strings on this thing. Two. I mean, I've only been streaming for 10 years. I do strings on a Floyd Rose impregnated guitar exactly like I do on any other guitar, just to help maintain tuning stability until you lock it down. There's no reason to do it differently, because what happens at a gig, let's say at a gig, one of these blocks breaks. It just cracks in the middle of a set. Right? If you got one wrap around this and you're expecting that to stay in tune, probably not going to work for you. So again, things fail, and this is again for people that play gigs, which no guitar should be treated differently than if it was going to be used in front of a large audience or even a small audience, so that you have every bit of possible failure covered as best you can. So again, on the unwound strings, I do 3 wraps and then cinch it up and make sure all the wraps are in a nice tidy order. No windings or and then we'll do our last string here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the internet today. Oh, shucks. Yeah. Okay, so this one, now that I've made a mess of this, sometimes that happens. It's Monday, right? I haven't put 18,000 sets of strings on guitars yet this week. This is actually my first. Except for Friday, I put 2 sets of strings on my own guitars. So I got a little warm up. Alright, here we go. Okay, so we've got strings on there. Now let's put the string tree back on her. Oh, you know, that's funny. When I was earlier in my stream, I was talking about there's 3 holes up here, and the truss rod cover has 1, and there's 3 holes. I forgot about this little part of the equation. So again, this is different from a typical Synyster Gates guitar in that it has gold screws on it. So that's that. Now I'm not going to put the truss rod cover. I'm going to put that right here in my handy dandy little magnet with a cool little gold screw to go on there. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate you telling me that, man. I can tell that it's working better. Now I'm going to do just I'm going to put these on here in the direction that they're supposed to go. This is how mine are installed on my guitar. They look the same, and they have the same convexed or concaved shape. And these are just, again, hand tight. I'm not cinching them down yet. Just getting them snug so they start touching the strings. Now we got to do some Floyd Rose setup and tuning and such. So now we've got all the colors and stuff done. Let's see where this Floyd, whoa, holy smokes. Well, we're pretty darn close. Where's my tuner? I gotta find my tuner. Wonder, that's not mine. Mine. Never mind. Let's see if my tuner is on another guitar. Yes, it is. So I just, my initial tuning is I'm going to use a snark, and we'll see how close I am. Okay, so I'm already, I can already tell that the springs are not tight enough in the back. So I'm going to tighten those down just a little bit more, and I'm going to give both sides of it the same amount of turn. Okay, so I can also still see that we need to increase the tension on these springs. So what I'm looking for now is that the pitch on these strings was high, so it's sharp right now, and I've gotten the tension where now the Floyd Rose is still again, this is how I adjusted. The Floyd Rose is still tilted slightly up, and yet the pitch is still is sharp, right? So that means when I loosen the tension on these strings, so now I'm coming back up. So I'm guessing that I'm going to be pretty darn close. And you guys, I got really lucky with this one. Now, when you're tuning up a guitar, this machine head doesn't move the string. It doesn't turn very well. The ratio is really terrible. Now I'm going to pull on this string, give it a little. Okay, so now I've got the tuning in really pretty solid. Now what I'm looking for on this Floyd Rose is how level is it to the body or the top of the guitar. And on a Floyd Rose, you want it level. On almost every, with exceptions, we're talking about Floyd Rose, licensed by Floyd Rose, you want these things, and like the ones with the drop D tuning, like the ones that they put on Music Mans or such, you want your bridge sitting flat. You don't want it tilted in any way. So we're still tilted up ever so slightly, and let you see what I'm talking about here. So what I'm looking, oops, sorry guys. What I'm looking for is for this plate to be perfectly flat with the top of the body. And I'm gonna look at my camera angle here and see if I'm showing you. Oh, you're not seeing it. There we go. So you can see that it's tilted up ever so slightly at the back, which means I need to tighten these screws in the back. And what I'm going to do is do one turn on each side. That's it. Now, when we go back up to the tuner, you're going to see that this pitch is going to be sharp, which means I have to loosen the tension on the string, which is going to let that bar drop. I moved those screws way too far, I think. Now, before I get too much further, I'm going to look at the bar. Now it is sitting exactly where I like it. So, I'm going to go back to the back of the guitar. I know that the string pitch is sharp right now. And I'm going to make a movement. I want you guys to see how small of a move I'm going to make on this thing. Because this is what separates a well set up guitar from one that's not. I'm going to move this screw that much. Just that. Okay. Now that should have hopefully flattened out the pitch of all these strings just a little bit. It probably didn't do much, but
Hey, Jeff stopped in. I called him and texted.
so I'm still a little bit short, except for on those treble strings. So let's go ahead and
She was kind of grousing because
I think the tiny amount that I'm moving.
So I said maybe get a hold of Jeff and then
Now again, on the Floyd Rose, it's a good idea to take it down below pitch, bring it up to tension so that now I'm that close. I'm going to look at my bridge one more time, and it is perfectly level. So here's what I like to do when I'm setting one of these up initially. Let's see if I can get this bar back in here. This thing is messed up. There we go. See if I can get the threads to bite. They're stripping. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. So now, I'm not nice about it. Another thing is that when I pull back on this bar, I can see that this treble E string is hitting the intonation set screw. But our string action is not adjusted to the exact amount either. So you want to look for that sort of stuff and see if there's anything that you can do physically to change that. Sometimes what I've done is sanded off the top of those set screws, the intonation adjustment screws.
And you know what else? Okay, so I have a Fender that I have no idea.
Now I have not gone through and stretched these strings like so they're not gonna.
Hey, Marshall,
Yes, sir.
can you do a restring for these people today?
Absolutely. Hello. My goodness.
Come on.
Wow, it's been a while.
That's what I said. I didn't know they had moved.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they moved out of here. 'Cause
Yeah. Yeah, we all
it's
did.
either that or
What do you got?
Just an acoustic. It's a beater acoustic, but
Okay.
Jocelyn lost her guitar. We were trying to figure out where the hell it is, and somebody gave us this one.
Okay. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, I thought, God, years ago I put strings on one of hers. Okay. Oh, it's a nylon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long are you in town?
Just today.
Just
so if
today,
you can't
okay.
do it, we'll take it.
I'm gonna no, I'm gonna do it right now. I'll just put this one to the side
thanks,
and get
man.
you taken care of, save you a trip. Yeah. I still see that cat over there once in a while. It is not.
It's not Peanut.
It's not. That one is so. I could walk up to your cat.
Yeah.
That one is so.
Skittish.
It's feral, totally, but it looks and it's huge. I get within 50 feet of it.
Gone.
It's gone. So I still see it down there once in a while, but I thought it was worth a try that night.
I never mind the call, man.
Yeah.
Like we've gotten a couple calls recently within the last couple of weeks.
Have you?
Yeah, and it was determined it wasn't him, but
Yeah.
I never mind. I'm like,
The other thing, you leave that case with me. I'll put it back in here when I'm done. Okay. Yeah. It might take me an hour or so.
Okay.
And I'll kind of give it a good look over and see if has it been played. Has she played it at all, or have you? I don't know.
it was just given to us.
Oh, and it was like this.
It was like this.
Obviously, it hasn't been.
Yeah, hasn't been touched in
Okay.
quite a while, actually. But we're gonna give it to Isaac. He's just beginning. That's why we thought nylon might be the way to go.
That's a subject of great debate. I don't
Okay.
think it is because the strings are like 4 times the diameter of a steel string guitar.
Okay.
And you got to build calluses either way.
He's a quick study. He plays the drums. He plays the piano. I think
Yeah.
he's playing the ukulele right now. So I think he'll.
Oh, if he's playing a uke, he's already getting
Okay,
his
we don't need
calluses
to.
done.
Yeah, do what we need
Takes-
to best.
Doctors say it takes 6 weeks to build up good calluses. If his fingers aren't hurting, he's not playing enough.
Yeah.
That's the God's honest truth, man. So you got to feel it a little bit to know, it's like roller skating. If you don't get a blister,
You're not trying hard enough.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I trust. Of
All
course, I
right.
trust your expertise.
I'll give it some good attention here. How long are you guys in town?
We leave tomorrow morning.
Okay.
But we're running errands right now,
Yeah.
so if
I'll get it done today.
it's 1, if you want me to come back 3, 4, 5, whatever.
I'll call you when it's ready.
Okay.
Let me
You
make
got my number, yeah.
sure.
I'm just used to doing this and playing music. I turned
Ben
it
Morgan.
into a job.
You got the same phone number?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Sweet.
I'll get her done.
Thanks so much, Marshall.
All right,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Tell Isaac I sent you out.
No, he's got it kind of short now, like wild and crazy. He doesn't shoot, he just gets out of the shower and goes.
That's perfect right now. That's great.
No, it's just all water damage. I mean, everything we own is
Acres of
soaked.
land.
It's soaked. I mean, we got in that night.
With a house and a really nice job. I married into it.
That's what they gotta do.
First my mortgage was out there and she said she had a cabin. I picked it.
It was raining.
I pull around and there's this really nice single.
I know all about that. Right on. Okay. Thanks, Marshall. Appreciate it.
It's like Kennedy College. Shit, you have a vastly different.
All right.
I did in the trailer park.
Yeah, we'll use ball ends. All right. So, shifting gears here. So this thing is all pretty much close to being done. We have all the cosmetic stuff done on it. So that's what the guitar is going to look like, and then I've got some time to finish this thing up, so we'll get to that. Now I'm going to put strings on a nylon string guitar, which I love doing. Hello, Lord Spike. Fish Sticks. Mike Sheener. Ghost is trying to, yeah, that's the trick to these things. So I had some these folks that just came in. We all used to live in the same apartment home that you all know was burnt, and they were living there. They were in the process of moving when the home burned down, but they were still living there. They were there that night, and it just so there's a bond between us all. They've recently moved to Los Angeles, and of course we all know what happened there. So
if you want one
let me
it'll be closer to like a 3.
lower than recommended bit rate.
Yeah.
We recommend that you use stream bit rate. See, it's telling me to use a bit rate of 6800, but the connection is only good right now. So there you go. Anyway, let me put this one away and we'll get to putting strings on a nylon.
It's going to sound good.
Okay.
They're going to be really, really good.
All right, and I have what's your Sirius XM that plays.
Yeah, where's your Sirius at?
So
Oh, it's in the car. So it's
let's,
gone, taking the deck out.
get some stuff put away here.
built into the
We don't
deck,
need
so-
that, although we will use that here eventually.
Yeah, if you want
So this is the guitar. It's a cedar top.
You'll have to get one of these and then have it transferred over to your new deck.
It is a plywood top on this thing. It's a
But, man, there's so much shit on
Veritech.
like YouTube.
Anybody know anything about a Veritech? Broken strings. Whew. This thing is nasty. And it looks like the string action is really pretty high on this, but it's classical, so we can live with that.
This does all your CarPlay, all that shit. Touchscreen. It's awesome.
All right, perfect.
There's definitely a couple frets I need to take care of on this. So let's get these strings off here. And one thing I despise, these open headstocks, they take way too long. Modern guitar built with open headstocks is kind of a, I don't know. I get the whole traditional thing, but it makes the guitar a lot more difficult to get string, oops, I don't have to loosen that. It makes it a lot more difficult to get strings on and off. It takes more time consuming, and a lot of that's because the way the machine heads are pointing down for a tech to work on. We just have to be patient. That one's wound the opposite direction also, so this one turn it backwards. Right, notice? So I'm just taking, yeah, you'll notice the pitch goes up, turning this direction. Right. So, and this looks like it was changed by, it's a fairly new string. Now I'm just taking enough tension off these strings that when I cut them, they don't. When I cut them, they don't snap. You know, really. All right, so let's get these off of here and get this some new strings on here. And just like that is how a day can shift from working on one thing to working on something else. And the deal with this for me is it's customer service. These folks live in Los Angeles. They brought their instrument to us to have us put strings on it. They were probably just given this guitar while they're here in town. It's hard saying, but you know, I want to make sure to save them a trip and make things easier for me. So I'm gonna bring. Oh, hopefully I didn't just unplug my camera. It looks like it's working. Let me go back to my streaming software. I gotta try this, you guys. I've been having this thing's been giving me these widget warnings all morning about my stream. It sounds like things are working pretty well right now, but my thought is that I'm probably my video quality might be suffering a little bit, and I'm only able to, well, I should be able to broadcast in 1080p. And I'm hoping, I'm just thinking out loud right now while I'm doing this little tidbit of work. Again, strings are a whole lot easier to get off of a, we'll just call them normal guitars. So I'm going to change that real quick on Lord Spike Protein. I picked up a Washburn Dime Rebel guitar the other day. Hey, congratulations on your new guitar, Fish Sticks. I always love hearing that. Let's go to settings. I'm going to go to output, and I have my video bit rate. I'm going to change that to 6800, and we'll apply that, and we'll hit OK, and we'll go back to our software, and we shall see what happens here. If I start getting glitchy video or something like that, let me know. I'll change it back. Now I'm also going to refresh this page. Okay, so I'm talking about streaming. I mean, I'm learning something when I'm working on a guitar about working on a guitar, or about streaming when I'm working on a guitar. It's not a huge distraction, but I just want my streams to be, yeah, it seems to, yeah, it's glitching up bad now. It's glitching up bad. Yeah. There we go. Can't do it.
So one of the chiropractor says you're going to have to come and see me every, about 4 or 5 times for me to get this all straightened out.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So every time.
And the other thing.
And at the end of it all, I said, you know.
So 2.6. Okay, so we're gonna go.
And he said, oh, you got an insurance company. So he billed my insurance company. And I came back and said, what the fuck are you doing? I paid you cash.
Yeah.
All I want is my money back from my insurance company. And he wouldn't, my insurance company eventually had to pay it. I said, okay, buddy, you pay me back my fucking money.
Yeah, so it still seems to be
I know what, you're a fucking person. That business. And how do you trust somebody?
okay. So it still seems to be acting up, but I'm trying to get it back to working at a reasonable rate. It's dropping all kinds of frames, and I'm not quite sure why. Probably would be best if I just restarted my computer. It is an older computer, and I am I am just about ready to buy a new laptop. So, yeah.
But he was really good, really good.
Let's see how much of this I can cut off of here before I... Sounds like Jim, the world's greatest banjo player. We're lucky. We have a guy named Jim that comes in here, and he is one of the finest banjo pickers in the world. And we're so lucky to get to see him once in a while. He owns a bunch of really great guitars also. So we're lucky to, and once in a while I get to listen to him play a little bit. And okay, let's see what someone has done here. Okay, so I think what's going on here is that there we go. Yeah, these things, this is old school traditional guitar building that is absolutely obsolete. I know Al Di Meola plays a guitar like this, that's fine. Okay, there are a couple of frets here. It looks like somebody may have put some, I'm going to check the, I'm going to do this a little bit differently because I wasn't asked to set this guitar up, but I want to see, yeah, that one fret, it looks like something got under this string right here. We'll use a fret leveling block. Okay, check this out. Now, where are you? All right, you can see this debris that looks like is underneath that string. So I'm going to get this out. Knock that stuff out of there. This is going to make this guitar hopefully playable. You can see that my oops, I'm sorry, you probably couldn't see that, but you can see that my razor blade fits all the way under that fret, right? The back side of it does. On these frets it won't. Now, I'm going to tap this with a hammer, but before I do that, I'm going to take another little preemptive strike here, like I like to say. And I'm going to hit that with a little tiny bit of CA glue. If I can get this CA glue to open. Oh, I can't. That's right. This stuff, this bottle of CA glue, I haven't been able to get CA glue to come out of it because the CA glue clogs up in the tips of these things. And apparently it's not possible for a manufacturer of CA glue to make a material plastic that CA glue doesn't stick to. You get my drift? So, watch what I'm doing with this bottle of CA glue. And I'm going to try, because I've complained about it so much, and I'm sure that they're aware of that problem and they won't fix it. This bottle of glue is half full. Now it's in the garbage because I don't need to deal with that. It takes way too long, way too much time to have to deal with that every time you close the bottle. So I am going to go ahead and set this thing down. And I hate throwing stuff like that away. It's such a waste of money. But they know it, and they know that they're going to sell more bottles of that if they don't fix the problem. So there you go. Whereas I do my best to never see a guitar again. They want to see you buying their shit that they know is a failure. There we go. Okay. I'm going to check this one too because I'm seeing some. Yeah, look at that. So this thing may have, I don't know, got leaned up against something that got underneath it. That fret definitely bent right at the end. I can see that. So it's a pretty pretty affordable guitar. We'll call it that. There we go. Now, I want to hit the edges of these frets. There we go. Come out of there. Okay. I had a customer once tell me that I made the ends of his frets pokey when they weren't pokey before he brought it into me. I had to laugh at that one. I don't know if he got the guitar home and tried to change what I had done or what, but he said, I guess if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Well, I guess so for you, because I've never had anybody complain about my fretwork, ever. Never once. And I wasn't working on it on a Friday or something. Okay, so we're still losing... Let me look at that. I'll take a look at that. Here's pointing out a crack in the headstock. I'm going to go back to OBS, go to settings, output. We're going to call it 2000. Enter. Oops. Settings, output, 2000. Okay. Yeah, it's still showing me this big yellow pop-up sign. If you've streamed much on YouTube, I don't know if you've ever seen that. Crack in the neck up by the headstock. Sparky, I'm looking, man. I appreciate you mentioning that. I mean, I'm always, I don't walk on water. I mean, I definitely do my best to look this thing over. There's no cracks in the fingerboard. Let's flip this guitar over. Oh, you're talking about this right here. Let's see. Let me get some cleaner. I'm going to take some cleaner and see. It looks like it's just a scratch. I don't believe that's a crack. Oh, it definitely... Nope, it's just a blemish in the finish, man. I'm pushing on it to see if I can make it open up or anything. This thing definitely took a hit right there. Got a little ding in the side of that. You can't feel it though, so it's not bad. And also, the young man who's going to be playing this guitar specifically, it sounds like, he's definitely a very beginner guitar player, but those are the people that we want to set these things up just absolutely perfect for. I'm going to scrape a little bit of this CA glue away right here. I'm not worried about blemishing this guitar if I have to a little bit to make it more comfortable, but I could feel this this little bit of glue on this right here. It looks like somebody probably CA glued that back in. It looks like it was done pretty well. It's not like they, oops, It's not like they used a ton of it. They didn't get the bridge in, or the nut in there perfectly straight, but it is a $50 guitar, so we're not too worried about that. Let's get some strings on this thing. Oh, I want to check. Let's check how. Boy, it has a pretty good underbow. But it's consistent across the whole fingerboard, and it has a almost. I think it's perfectly flat. I'm gonna look down this. Yeah, it actually has a concaved neck radius. It's an opposite of what an electric guitar would have. Under the first fret, now there's no cracks there, but definitely took a hit right there. But I appreciate you pointing that out. Bottles of super glue. Yeah. I hear you, man. Okay, so we're going to string this thing up. Now, I like to do this on this guitar. It's going to be a typical, we're just going to use ball ends on it. I could tie these strings on here and just cut the ball end off, but on this instrument I'm not. Oh, and I lost the bridge. Where did she go? There she is. All right. I didn't lose the bridge. Put this back in. That's the direction it came from. We're gonna center that bridge and see if I can get these strings on this guitar. Alright, so we're going to learn how I do this now on a nylon string guitar. I do not like to tie these onto the headstock. Now obviously the windings are going to go that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at a length, again with experience, and I put strings on these so many times that we get an adequate number of windings around this for the friction to hold the string, not a knot to hold the string in place. Now I've put strings on these guitars so many times. I just cut a little bit off of the end of the string, and yeah. Now I put the string winder someplace where I wouldn't lose it, so of course it is someplace where I would lose it. Anybody see a string winder on my desk here? What the hell? You gotta be kidding me. It absolutely vanished. You see my string winder? Holy shit. Okay. Well, don't worry. They'll make more, right? If you remember where I put it, please let me know. It vanished. All right. I don't know. It must have. It fell into the oblivion of Nowhereville. I don't know where it went. All right. So here's how that's so weird that I lost that string winder. I can't believe it. It's not on the. I gotta look. Is it on the? Okay, my string winder literally vanished. Okay, so now I've got all of this excess string on here, and I'm going to go ahead and start winding this up. Let me get you pointed in the right direction. Hopefully my camera guy can stay with me on this. So I'm going to go on the outside of the string, and the string will want to pull through like that constantly because it doesn't want to go where you want it to go. It wants to go anywhere that you don't want it to go. Right? Just remember that when you're putting strings on your nylon string guitar, especially one like this that I find repulsive that people still build guitars like this. Not repulsive, just dumb. It's obsolete technology. Whew. Well, that was not good. I don't like that. I'm going to cut that end of the string off again. Now I know this can happen, so I'm not worried. Put a little bit more through there. That's weird that that string winder vanished on me like that. I go to the outside because I want the windings to go this direction when I get it on there. And I'm not putting much tension on this string until I get right about to here. And now, oh, see, you can pull the string right out of there. I know this is like, you think, oh, just tie a knot. Nope. Never tie a knot in a guitar string. That is unacceptable behavior at my bench, and you'll never see me do it. So I just pulled a little bit too hard on that, so I'm leaving it loose, you can see, and now it's trying to pull through again. So I'll pull it back. And you know, a lot of times it depends on the string brand that you buy, because I can tell right now there's enough tension on this string that or enough windings around here now that I shouldn't even be able to pull it out if I tried to pull it out of there. So I've gotten a couple windings on there now. We're going to snug these up. And I like to let friction do its job. That's what this is all about. There we go. Now we're getting there. So you notice I've gotten trying to push that string over, push those windings over. There we go. And I'm keeping tension on the string the entire time I'm winding it. You might think, ooh, that's a hard way to do it. Well, if you got a better way to do that, let me know. I've just been doing it like this on these open headstocks for a long time now. Now, I want to also take a little speck of oil, just hit each one of these just a tiny little bit, just to lube them a little bit. I've got to have lube. Alright. Put some KY on the windings. Now, I want to look at the comments and see who has a better way. Balances. For missing parts. That's a... I definitely have dropped it in my pocket, dropped screws in my pocket, but I may have carried it off and set it down. So this machine head is broken, which I may have to fix that for him. Let's see, it's not a set screw. It just pulls off of there like that, and it's cracked. I can see that. So here's what I'm gonna do. Obviously, I can see a crack in it. It's cracked along the seam where it was built. So I'm going to use some CA glue and fill this up. Not fill it up, but get some in there. I'm gonna push this on here. It's got a bite. There we go. A little bit squeezed out. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Please squeeze out. Because now what I know, I probably could have used some JB Weld. JB Weld sticks to metal pretty good, or yeah, JB Weld sticks to metal pretty good. So I'm going to leave that one alone. We'll let that CA glue set up. Let me wipe off the excess stuff that I sprayed on that. Oh yeah, it already is. I just turned it just a tiny little bit, and it already is turning better. So we'll let that sit, and I'll warn my client about that. So now here's another little thing you can do with nylon strings where you poke it through, because they don't make that gap big enough for the string to, if you bend the string in an upward direction, push the string in, sometimes you can get it to pull through really easily. Now this string is way too long, and I'm looking at so we want the string to kind of go that direction a little bit, and we can do the same thing on the D string. So I'm gonna cut this string about right here. We're gonna do the same thing here. I'm pushing it through. I've pushed it through way too far, right? And I'm just letting it kind of work its way around. Now when I start putting tension on it, I can pull a little bit of it back through, but I'm liking this string is biting a lot better. Okay. Charlie, were you saying, if you're still here, I'm curious, if you were saying that you guys don't have steelhead in your neck of the woods, because I'm seeing Gabaldon fishing tackle on your hat, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but not only am I a journeyman plumber and a guitar tech and a musician and a teacher, and I was a good husband and a good dad, and all of those skills that I've learned over life, I can catch a steelhead in a mud puddle, and I ain't kidding. I loved fishing. I don't have time to do it right now, but I'm gonna wait to turn that one. Do you have some good steelhead lures? That's what I was curious about. Now I usually fish them with a jig and bobber, and I don't typically use bait because it's just messy. And they'll hit a jig, like a bright green and black jig. Again, watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take the tip of this string and I'm just bend it a little bit. I'll bend it a little bit more. That helps me get it through the tiny little gap. So it makes it that much easier. And this one, I'm going to cut about 1.5 inches off. Not much. I'm going to do the same thing. A lot of winding to get these strings on this style of guitar. Not that it's that big of a deal, but it's again an obsolete science when it comes to building a guitar with an open headstock. I don't know. I think some guys think that it's kind of like pickups. They think that they put a new pickup on their guitar, it's going to sound better. It'll sound different. It doesn't necessarily sound better. Different isn't always better or worse, right? Yeah, I still haven't seen my my bright orange string winder. I don't know where that thing went. That's a trip. Putting strings on a nylon string guitar is so much fun. But it's cool because you know, like I know with a lot of the instruments that I'm working on here, I know that a young kid is going to be the one that gets to play this thing. And I'm so excited to know that a young person is learning to play an instrument. And I know this young man. He and I used to hang out at the old house, and he was a good kid. It's been years, and I just found out he's a freshman in high school now, which, wow, that's astonishing. I watched that little kid grow up pretty much from a very young age. He's a good kid.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Just go straight back through there. And
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, okay, the light's on. So now this string will be, when he tunes up the guitar, it'll turn the right direction. That's way too sharp. Wow. I gotta tune this thing. Yeah, I'm just shocked where that string winder went. That's blowing my mind. Would not be the first time. It isn't the first time, I guarantee that. Alright, now you notice I'm not cutting any off of these strings because I want a few more windings on these unwound strings, just to create some more friction as the string gets tightened. Pretty exciting, isn't it? Watching somebody put strings on a guitar. Okay. See how clean and tidy these things are going on here? And if I pull, I'm pulling on the string right now, and you'll notice that nothing. Pulling on it, and I can't pull this string back through. Those of you tying knots in your strings or running them through the thing twice. Independent, hello. Independent, did you see my, or should I call you United? Or wait, did you see my string winder? And not the red one, the bright orange one. I lost it today. I mean, I literally lost it in a matter of a minute or so. Now, I've got a lot of string on this one. I'm going to go ahead and leave all of that on there. I'm just simply going to pull it through a little bit further. Now, all of the strings will be wound the same direction. Instead of turning one machine head one direction and the other another direction. There we go. Which I think will make the tuning a little bit easier and more normal. We'll call it normal. Alright. So now I know when I'm pulling on this, I can pull some string back through. So it takes a few windings on these smaller string gauges to get it to the friction to actually bite and start working. which is why I leave so much extra string on there, so that I can allow the friction to take place. Now I'm pulling on the string about as hard as I can possibly pull on it without breaking it, and it won't move. So again, if you're winding your string around there twice, all you're doing is making it harder to get the string off the guitar when it's time to put new strings on it, or if you break it at a gig or a performance or at home or whatever. Okay, let's see how close we are in tune now. And I've got a little excess string sticking off that one. You can hear its pitch is slowly but surely dropping just because the string is stretching. So here's what I do. I just cut a little bit off the end, leave about a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch sticking off of each string. That's all you need, because that thing ain't going anywhere. And with a nylon string guitar, you don't have to worry too much about poking your finger on the string like as you would on a steel string guitar. That's way too flat, I'm pretty sure. I think it is. Yeah. Hopefully you can see. I'm just going to stretch this string. Now also, here's something you want to be careful of with this type of ball end string. There is a knot in the side of this little ball end. If you pull too hard on this thing stretching it, you will pull that knot right through. So again, a lot of frictional force is used on a nylon string guitar like this to keep everything intact. Again, kind of an obsolete science, I guess. If you like using hide glue on a guitar that you're fixing, why would you do that? I suppose if it was a Stradivari. No, this machine head has stopped turning also. It's stripped out. So we're going to do the same thing. But before we do to this one, let's make sure this one works. So the CA glue was a good CA glue was a good fix for that. It's holding. So let's pull this machine head off of here, and I can see that it's cracked. I'll show you the crack in it. I think come off of there. I think I can get this to pull off. There it goes. So there's the crack right there. Oh, stay put. I should probably put a kickstand on this. In fact, I'm going to go get a kickstand. I'll show you guys my kickstand. If you haven't seen it before, it's kind of fun.
It is. I'll show you. I have all kinds of stuff over here.
Okay. Kickstand. Here we are.
This is the one I showed you, and it's $149. This is a bigger one, and it's $199.
What we do, you want to just be careful to take care that the ends of this are not all gummed up. And if you're worried about it, you can put a rag in there. But if you want a guitar to stay up on its side, just put. And now you got a kickstand. Right? Been doing that for years. And people have.
Perfect. You know, I'm coming back in when I get to get
Okay.
off.
So let's put some CA glue in here.
I have to keep us in mind.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet and everything.
Go. Nice bottle of CA glue. And I'm gonna squirt some in here. I've got a pretty good amount in there. I'm not worried about the glue squeezing out. What I am wanting to do is make sure to line it up. Okay, so I got quite a bit of squeeze out on that one. So I'm going to take a paper towel.
One of these and one of these to a bar.
Oh, awesome.
And we have smaller ones too, like on stands. But, you know, if you got that whole...
Wipe a little bit of that excess off of there.
So I suspect it's going to be...
So I got a little bit of CA glue on the headstock there. And I'm sorry if you couldn't see me doing that. My camera guy, he's a very heavy drinker. And he has a hard time keeping up with me. There we go. Now what I also might do is try and squeeze a little bit into this crack here and squeeze it together a little bit. Try and make that a little more reliable. I know I can turn that screw, but I've also lubed all the stuff. Now, these are not turning. They're not turning hard. It's not like somebody came in here and tightened up all these set screws, and you know, which is what commonly happens. People tighten those down. It's a screw. It's got to be as tight as you can possibly humanly get it. These use friction also, and if you tighten them too much, you'll break these, which is likely what's happened with these ones. Probably. It also could be that this thing's been sitting in a closet for 20 years and they haven't been used in that long, and the plastic just got brittle and broke. That's the end of my forensic science when it comes to why that happened on this guitar. Yeah, now it's turning. Okay, but before I get there, yeah, I can move that a little bit. So let's I want to try and do a really neat job on this. Let me see. Can I squeeze it? No. So now, as a plumber, if I told you how much money I made with this tool, right? This tool right here, you would. It's shameful. Thousands upon thousands of dollars. Okay, so okay, now I know that looks like a huge mess, doesn't it? Now it doesn't. And when I squeeze this, yes. Yes. Okay, I can see that it's causing a little bit of squeeze out there. I'm trying to be careful not to. I forgot my my accelerator. I put my accelerator away before I was ready to put the accelerator away. There we go. I think we've probably done a pretty good job fixing that. And it's likely, if that ever cracks again or breaks, I'm not gonna spend a whole hours and hours tightening that or cleaning that all up and making it all pretty and smooth again. I think it's better to leave well enough alone on a guitar like this, and they may never ever see that. It's not too bad. If this was a Martin, I would definitely have done that quite differently, but it's not. So let's keep tuning And get rid of our kickstand here. I just took my kickstand off. I think that's Jim over there. Okay, stretching strings now. Stretching nylon strings takes a while. Usually, unless you wind them properly up at the headstock here, when you wind the strings on there really well, there's no slippage. You're gonna not have such a struggle stretching the strings. But you still want to go over them. Now I'll show you how I'm stretching these strings. And again, this is where you want to be careful, because you can pull this knot out of the bottom of this string. They have come undone. So again, I'm pinching the string between my finger and my thumb, my pointer. And I'll just go over it a few times, a few more times. I've already done this like 5 or 6 times. So I can still find that string is falling in pitch, so go far enough. We'll do the same thing on this D string. And the string is tuning just nicely with the CA glue that I put on it. So loosen this screw slightly. I'm just going to budge it. There we go. Somebody had tightened that too far. Machine heads were cracked and they wouldn't turn the string, and now we've definitely solved that. I'm going to loosen this screw also. I like to set them so that they just start to have a little bit of resistance on the screw, and that's usually a good tension. I mean, okay, now one thing I didn't do is polish up the frets and oil the fingerboard. We're going to oil the fingerboard right now. Probably should have done that before I got started, but I got ahead of myself a little bit. Just put a little bit of oil on there. And this will make this fingerboard look a whole lot nicer. And it's not so hard to do after you put strings on a guitar. You just go over it, pushing down through the strings, okay? we're not rubbing the linseed oil into the wood. The wood will soak it up like lickety split, right? So, and fortunate thing with nylon string guitars is that the string tension is not very much, and you can really do this very easily on a nylon string guitar after the fact, but it sure does look nice. Had a great show on Friday night. Everybody's really excited over there for Guitar Festival. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and cover the top of this. I'm going to rub over the top of this with some linseed oil also. Just the excess that I had on this paper towel should be enough. Just to kind of give it a little more life, a little more color. There's nothing wrong with putting linseed oil on a pre-finished surface. It'll help keep the bad stuff out and keep the good stuff in. Alright, this is how a lot of old-timer guitar restoration specialists kind of bring the finish back to life, even though it's already got like lacquer or some kind of polyurethane type finish on it. They will rub it down with linseed oil. Now I'm running out, so I'm going to give it a little bit more, just so I can spread some around, spread around the love. Yeah, it's almost like the top of this guitar doesn't have any finish on it at all. That's weird. This oil, it's interesting how this is looking when I'm putting this oil on it. It's almost soaking into whatever kind of finish they used on this guitar when it was built. Kind of weird. If you were watching my stream earlier and we started having video problems and such, I'm not sure why that was happening. I do my best to have as a professional appearing and sounding and looking video. There must have been something going on with my internet connection here in town. I'm not sure. Also, there could be something going on with my my computer. I don't know, but I just don't know. Can't tell you. Alright, now we've gotten a new layer of linseed oil on this thing, so we'll rub it all in and then we'll wipe it right off. Got way too much on here already, I can see. There's that. We've covered the whole top of that, and look at that. It made the finish look really darker and made the colors and the grain really pop on the head, on the wood on this thing. It is a laminated top, so you know, we're not looking at some kind of piece of 17th century cedar. Which, the day I get to work on a guitar that has that on it will be one of the greatest moments of my life. That'd be cool. You don't want to leave a lot of linseed oil to dry on a guitar neck, because it will it can build up pretty quickly and the guitar neck can end up feeling a little bit sticky, which, I mean, if you sweat really roughly or a lot and you don't clean your guitar off very often when you play it, you're going to feel sticky anyway. So, again, there we go. There we go. Looking good. Alright, let's see how this thing plays. I'm just going to play it a little bit. Now I did just put oil on it, right? So the oil's gonna have to cure, right? But let's see how this thing plays. And after all of that, I'm gonna check the tuning once more. Make sure this thing is holding tune real well. Boy, string action's really high on this thing, and obviously there's no truss rod in it, so what song is that? That's the only part of that song I need to relearn that piece. Not that you would play a classical guitar much like that, but alright. I think this thing is it's in pretty good shape right now. Let's go ahead and clean it off real quick. And we'll just clean it. Might as well sit and clean it. I'm gonna have to go to lunch here pretty quick, and we'll get back to the what is that? The Schecter. Yeah, it's almost like this thing is soaking up liquid. Weird. I'm not sure what kind of finish this has on it, but it could be that this thing was living in a house that had a fireplace or something, and it's got some kind of like smoke coating on it. The tar, I'm not talking about cigarette smoke. I'm just talking about, the black guck that fires emit smoke and that sort of thing. It just doesn't seem. It seems weird. I don't see guitars do this kind of behavior very often when I get them wet or put oil on them. I do work on guitars for people that smoke cigarettes, and that That's a pretty nasty situation. If you got to get one really clean and shiny, it'll never happen without oven cleaner. Yes, you heard me say that right. I have had to use oven cleaner on some very expensive, very valuable, very old guitars because they were in a smoker's home for most of their lives, or at a bar playing gigs. This one's made in Indonesia. I can see a sticker on the back of the headstock, just if anybody's aware. Pretty good guitar though. The string action's a little bit high, but it's good enough. We'll call it a day on this thing. Just wanted to restring. We did it up, got the fingerboard all treated up. So this thing's got a good long life of playing guitar, and we'll hope that the young man breaks his leg. And the young kid that owns it will be playing this guitar. He was involved in acting and plays and stuff in our community, and it sounds like he's done some stuff in Hollywood or Los Angeles, where he lives now, that he's getting involved in the possibly getting involved in the movie industry. So good job. I'm not going to say his name. And it's even got a hard case, sort of. It's a sort of hard case. This is what I call a sort of hard case. Sort of hard. Alright? But it's great for a guitar to be in a case like this. Got a kind of a, it's a foam hard case. So that would remove it from the hard case category. Unless the foam was burnt and hardened into plastic. So I'm confused. All right, you guys, I think it's time for me to go eat lunch. Sparky. Oh, okay. I can't see very well. Yeah, I understand, man. Cool stuff. Yeah, I'm glad. Take care, Sparky. I'm sorry that I missed your comment there. I was busy. I talked too much. Well, that's what I think. So, y'all, I'm gonna I'm going to go have lunch. It is exactly my lunchtime, so I got to eat. And I hope you all have a really great Monday, and I don't know when I'll go live again. I've got a lot of stuff to work on here. I might go live this afternoon when I get back to that, what is it, the Schecter, the gold and black Schecter. So, hope to see you soon. Have a great Monday if I don't see you again today. And thank you, Independent United, Many United. Be sure to check her channel out and subscribe to her channel. She's got a really cool thing going, and she's a really cool person. Cheers, you all. Happy Monday. We'll see you soon.